Hi, my name is Riley Allen. This is my review of the 2012 film The Lorax. This is based off the Dr. Seuss book, The Lorax. And, I don't know why I didn't realize this before, but the Lorax is played by Danny DeVito. It got through like 2 lines from the Lorax, and I was like, holy shit, is that Danny DeVito? Yeah. So afterwards, I looked at the cast. We got Taylor Swift in this movie. We got Zac Efron in this movie. We got Betty White in this movie. I didn't recognize any of those 3, though, from their voices. Anyway. So, we start off in Thneedville. And instead of telling us about Thneedville, they sing to us about Thneedville. So Thneedville is this place where there's no air, or no trees, so all the oxygen is fake. And kind of processed. Bottled and shit, so they're kind of run by this kind of dictator dude, Mr. O'Hare. And he wants to make it even more polluted so he can create more air so people would buy more of his air. We meet our main character, Ted, and he has this crush on this girl. And she really wants to see a tree. Like, really wants to see a tree. Like, she has a painting on the back of her house of trees. And so Ted decides that, alright, I'm going to get you a tree. So he talks to his mom and his grandma about it, and then Mom's like, why would you want trees? They're so nasty. And so Grandma's like, starts talking, and then she is, lies to the mom, like, can you go get my teeth? And then once the mom's gone, she shoves her teeth back in her. Alright, here's how it's gonna go. You're gonna go behind the city walls. You're gonna find a man called the Onceler. I love the grandma in this movie. She's the best character in this movie. So that's what Ted does. He goes beyond the wall, which is a barren wasteland, and finds the Onceler. And the Onceler is this old dude. And he starts telling the story about how the trees went extinct. It was his fault. He was once a young dude with a bit too much optimism. And he had a dream to make money. He ended up finding all these trees. And he ended up turning like the branches or the leaves or whatever into these things he called thneeds. At first they didn't. And that's how we meet the Lorax, because he cut down the tree. And I need to know, is it just these trees that he protects? Like these specific trees? Because I feel like in the history before this, there has been at least several other trees that have been cut down. I'm thinking it just might be this specific grove or whatever that the Lorax truly protects. Anyway, they try to run the Onceler off, but once he doesn't leave, they eventually get him to promise that he won't cut down no more trees. He agrees, but then the Thneed takes off, and he starts cutting down them all. He is very bad at business. What he needs to do is, sure, cut some down, but take the seeds, plant them so he has more harvest. And then just stop it. Stop the production, slow it down. Maybe ramp up the price a bit, just something like that. I don't know. Anyway, so of course, he runs the trees to extinction, and all the animals leave, including his own mule, just like, man, fuck you. And then the Lorax dips. I'm pretty sure, like, the message of this is don't be a greedy bastard, or bad things won't really happen, or if you're a greedy bastard, bad things will happen, maybe. Or maybe I'm trying to find a lesson where there isn't really one, but, that's the lesson I'm going to take away. Don't be a greedy bastard. So he ends up handing Ted the final seed. Throughout the movie, though, O'Hara has been systematically trying to stop him from going beyond the wall because, if he brings back the trees, O'Hara lose money. But he also painted over Aubrey, I think that's the crush's name, who likes trees, her wall of flowers, which is trespassing and illegal. Like, she painted that on her own house. I'm assuming she had her parents' permission. Ted invites her over to his house to show her the seed, but O'Hara's there already, and yeah. They eventually all get into a chase to get the seed where they eventually plant it, and they decide, and that's when the Onceler comes. And then there's kind of like a time flash where it shows the Onceler and trees are growing around his house, and the Lorax returns. And, they have, the Lorax and the Onceler have a good kind of reunion, where the Onceler hugs him, I guess, kind of trying to repent for what he did. And, I now imagine that after this, the Lorax and the Onceler are just bros, like drinking buddies, or something type of buddies. Maybe they don't drink, like they just sit there and have a good talk. Also, the animals came back. So, like, the descendants of the animals that left, they came back. I loved the music, Let It Grow. That is the best song, and it had no right to be as good as it was. Also, the funniest scene, I believe, is when Ted wanted to go back to hear the rest of the story from the Onceler, but it was Sunday, and that's family day. So the granny ended up playing her own little game. How long will it take to get my daughter to break? Not that long, apparently. And she was like, so after she broke, it said, all right, that's enough family time. It's now alone time. Goodbye. The granny was like, I knew I could break her. And I'm just thinking, damn. They should have just played Monopoly. That might have left somebody dead, though. I really enjoyed this movie. I found it entertaining, and I loved that at the end of it, it was, while yes, Ted cared about the, impressing his crush and getting a kiss from his crush, it also kind of became for him also trying to save the trees. I'm gonna give this movie a solid 9 out of 10. Maybe a 10 out of 10. Like, I can't really find anything that I per se is bad about the movie. I mean, there's things that even what I don't like the Onceler's business decision. That's not really bad with the movie. That's just bad for the character. Like, that's a character fault, not a movie fault. So 9 or 10, I'll give it a 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. Thanks for watching the video. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.